It's the short version.
You've had enough of that shit. You've had enough of that shit.
Playoffs?
You like that? You must be crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Must be Quizzy.
Hey, everyone. Welcome to the Main Event 365. It's a special Sunday night edition. It is the Maestro Russell Wayne and myself, Main Event Mike, here with a special live. We're just going to talk about a few things. Be sure to put your comments in. Tell us that we're crazy or tell us that we're quezzy, and we'll just start rolling along with it. So what do you want to talk about tonight first, Russ?
I got to put it on me right there. How about the running quarterbacks? They're becoming a necessity to win in the NFL, right?
No, I disagree. It's pocket passers that rule. Patrick Mahomes is a quarterback that can run. He's not a running quarterback. Jalen Hurts learned to throw from the pocket and took the next step. Lamar Jackson as well. Justin Fields is hoping to learn to throw from the pocket this year and take that next step. Running quarterbacks are not the path. Until one of them wins a Lombardi, I'm not sold.
Right. So, I mean, when it comes to a running quarterback, I think that in order to really do this, we have to kind of define what a running quarterback is, because really, if given a chance, any quarterback would run, right? So what would define a running quarterback to Main Event Mike?
A running quarterback is someone who's more confident in their ability to run the ball than they are to throw the ball, and therefore it becomes their go-to. And this is how they generate yardage. This is how they impact their team, by running the ball. Whereas when they throw the ball, it negatively impacts their team. So I think right now Justin Fields is the only real true running quarterback, maybe Trey Lance as well. They just haven't refined their passing skills enough yet to be anything but a running quarterback. Lamar Jackson started out as a running quarterback. Now he can burn you throwing the ball as well. He has developed. Jalen Hurts, we're seeing that development. Josh Allen, he had the terrible completion percentage his first couple of years, but he was a running threat from day one. So these quarterbacks, they either figure it out or they don't. So I have to disagree when you say that running quarterbacks are a necessity. It's certainly a trend where we're seeing them more and more, and they look great if you're playing fantasy football.
You know, I do want to correct. I didn't say that I think that they are a necessity. I said, are they a necessity?
Oh, right.
Because it does really seem to be it's one of those themes that goes around, every time, your quarterback does something that you don't like. You're like, oh man, I wish that we needed Lamar Jackson. I wish that we could have a quarterback that could run the ball. And it's like, that is nice. It's exciting to have a quarterback that can escape the pocket and make some things happen and everything like that. But at the end of the day, yeah, I agree with you. I think that standing in the pocket, standing firm, being able to make your reads, being able to lead your team, being able to manage a 2-minute offense is way more important than being able to escape the pocket and maybe get, 20, 30 extra yards because I'm a little bit more mobile than the next guy.
Right. And we've talked about it many times, Russ, right? There are running quarterbacks, and then there are quarterbacks who can run. Aaron Rodgers used to be a quarterback who could run, but you were worried about him beating you with his arm, not with his legs. And it seems like last year teams were daring Justin Fields to throw the ball. They were worried about his legs, and rightfully so. He had over 1,000 yards rushing as a quarterback. So these running quarterbacks also, their lifespan is too short. Even Lamar Jackson only played 12 games the last 2 years. Every running quarterback, is Kyler Murray a running quarterback, or is he a quarterback who can run? He's kind of in that middle. I think he's kind of on the borderline. Injured. Lamar Jackson injured. Justin Fields got injured. So, I mean, these quarterbacks get injured at a higher rate running the
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't that seem like kind of the theme? So let me ask you something right here, because we do have Detroit Darcy in the background in the backstage right now. He is
who?
somebody that the Detroit Darcy.
I
I
dated
believe
a
that
girl named Darcy.
So do you want to let him on, or do you want, or do you want to wait?
I'm not familiar with him, Russ. If you want to let him on, that's fine with me.
No, all right then. So Detroit Darcy, the real deal, is it?
Hey,
Hey, I'm absolutely honored to be on the main event 365. Thank you for having me on. How's it going, Mike?
Good. How are you?
Oh, well, just got season tickets this year. I put down my deposit like 2 days after they said we could put down the deposit. And they said, well, we'll call you right at the end of March. 300
I like the hair, bro. You're going full Alex Anzalone on us. I like it.
300 level, brother. 300 level.
That's where Anzalone. I'll write that.
You like that? So let's. I want to ask you, sir, about the free agent acquisitions that Brad Holmes has made so far. Anything stand out to you?
Well, absolutely. They absolutely created depth for this roster. Like last year, we were like, oh, okay, if we get 7 wins, that's okay. But now they go and get CJ Gardner-Johnson, who went to the Super Bowl. That was totally exciting. Sutton was a great hire. Letting Jeff Okudah, what do you guys think about that? Like, I thought we should keep our roster as deep as possible. And I disagree with letting Jeff Okudah go. I know Russell is a big OSU fan. What do you think about that?
Are you asking the questions on the show? I'm confused. How about we do Rochambeau for it? You ready? To see who asked the questions. You ready? We're going to do it.
You're lagging, though. You're lagging, so I'll
Ready?
always win.
Go. 1, 2, 3.
You're lagging. I got you already.
No, I got you because this is my show and I ask the questions. What do I think about the Jeff Okudah trade? I'll tell you what I think about the Jeff Okudah trade. I think that you could have given me a 5th-round pick and a bag of Doritos, and I'd have been happy because Jeff Okudah was benched at the end of the year. He was already the floor of our cornerback room. Now with these free agent signings, the floor has been raised above. Perhaps not above Okudah's ceiling. We just don't know. With only 20 games played, we don't have a big enough sample size to say, is his ceiling higher than our floor is going to be? We just don't know. And we're not willing to pick up his 5th-year option and pay $11 million to find out. So I'm absolutely happy with the Okudah trade. It makes room in the cornerback room, and it opens up the door for us to draft a cornerback in the deepest cornerback draft in 2 decades.
Right, but it also takes like 1.5 years to develop a corner, though. That's the problem. I don't want to wait 1.5 years.
Yeah, well, it's a darn good thing our defensive coordinator's a former DB.
Yes,
and they just hired a new DB coach in Dre Bly, who's another former player. So if there's anyone who can speed up the development of a young player, it's a former player that's also turned into a great coach. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Good take, absolutely. But
hey, look at me asking questions again. Awesome. So, Darcy, you're gonna have season tickets.
Yep.
Have you seen the opponents that we got to play this year?
Well, absolutely. We had to play all our NFC North Division rivals. We have to play the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. What do you think about that? No,
well, we don't know.
I host a show. Sorry, too. I'm sorry, Mike.
We don't know. We don't know if it's in Arrowhead because the schedule hasn't been released yet. We only know the names of the opponents. We don't know the dates of where it is, right?
Yeah, we don't know the dates, but that is our road opponent.
Oh, it's a road opponent. Okay, good call. Yeah. Good call. Yeah. So we know we play the Chiefs on the road. I looked at it, and it's going to be a tough road to hoe, I think.
I think so. That's why I say, like, we might have the same record as we did last year with a 9-8 record. We have a way tougher schedule than we did last year with playing the NFC East. Don't you agree?
I do agree. Looking at the schedule, but we're a better team. So I really think the over under is 9.5 for the Lions. You like the over?
Well, That's what I said. They're going to go 9-8, the same record as they did last year.
So that would be under 9.5.
Yep.
Okay, so
Because
you got the under.
Yep. Because the whole reason is, like, what has Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes been able to do in September and midway through October? They can't win a game, Mike. They can't win a game. They haven't proven to me that they can win in September and midway through October.
Right.
And Dan Campbell
absolutely.
came from the Saints, and the Saints were kind of the same way. They could never win. The Saints are notoriously slow starters.
That's true. And it always took half a season, and Drew Brees always came on strong at the end of the season. And I wonder if that was a product of Sean Payton making adjustments in season, or if it's just one of those things you can't put your finger on. And I hope that doesn't plague the Lions. And that brings up a great point, Darcy, how important it is for the Lions to get off to a good start.
Well, look at Minnesota. They got off to a great start, but they kind of, lost to the Packers in Lambeau in week 17. So it matters, but it doesn't matter. I'd rather start off a little bit slow, like Jim Caldwell used to say. You start the car in first gear, and then you grab it into the second gear, and then you put it into third gear. I'd like to start the season off that way, but not go on a 5-game losing streak.
Right. No, I love that call out. They've got to be able to win in September and October, not just down the stretch. And, they went 0-8 in Dan Campbell's first season before their first win. They go 1-6 last year in the first 7 games. So that's a great call out. Hopefully the schedule makers will be nice and we can get off to a good start. And maybe we get Chicago twice in the first 5 games. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
See, I think we're going to play the Packers early because we played them late last year and the year before. So I think we're actually going to play the Packers early. How many primetime games do you think we're going to get there, Mike?
Yeah, at least. Well, if you count, do you count Thanksgiving?
Well, that's always a primetime game. So,
right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Prime time is usually 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. So, maybe 1 or 2. They're not going to let the Lions go that much. Maybe 2.
Right. So I was at the last Monday Night Football game when we were 5-0 or 4-0 going against those Chicago Bears. And that place, were you there, Mike? Main stage, Mike?
No, I was not there.
That place was electrifying. I've never heard it so loud. It was just the concourse were shaking. It was that loud. And we need that to get back to Ford Field. We need that electrifying crowd to come.
Well, Darcy, I know that you have suffered a long time with these Lions, as I have. But it's a good time to be a Lions fan right now, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Feels good, doesn't it?
I'm turning 50 here, so I started following them right around the 90s, early 90s. You're probably a little bit later, but it's just those were great teams. And watching Barry Sanders and winning a playoff game and going to the playoffs, it was exciting to me. And I'd imitate Barry Sanders football practice.
I do believe that this team is as good or better than any of those teams from the 90s. I do not believe that you emulated Barry Sanders in any kind of a practice, though.
Actually, I'm pretty good. I got my good side-to-side moves. That was pretty good.
That's like a Ripley's Believe It or Not thing for me. I'm gonna have to decline.
Well, you got to realize the Canadian talent around here is not very good. So I was going against Vincent, right?
You're the Barry Sanders. You're the Barry Sanders of Ontario. Okay, yep. I'll go with that. All right.
Stop playing with us.
Can you ice skate? That's the real question.
Actually, no. It's like with those bob skates. Remember the 2-bladed skates? I used to do that. I was able to do that. I was a poor kid on welfare, so I always wore my running shoes and I played goalie.
They let the goalie play in his tennis shoes, eh?
Yep.
All right. So tell us, since you're on the show, tell us about your show and your network. What do you got going on over there?
I'm admin to the Detroit Lions News. I'm looking to add you guys to. That's 52,000 followers. It is the largest page for the Detroit Lions News. I hope we could work together on. I'm hoping we could work together, and I'm sorry if I've did anything to hurt your guys' show, but I love it. And it is the best show on Facebook or on the internet, or you guys are everywhere. I see you on Twitter. I see you there. I see you here. I see you there.
Playoffs.
Can we get a soundbite of you saying that the main event is the best show on the internet? Can you the best Detroit Lions show on the internet? Can we just get a sound clip, a bite of you saying that, Detroit Darcy?
Blow me up here.
Well, blow him up. He's going to do a promo for us, Maestro.
Okay.
This is like a Twilight Zone episode.
Hi, Coach Darcy here with the Detroit Lions news. Make sure you subscribe to the Main Event 365. They are coming to the Detroit Lions news. They are the greatest Facebook show in the whole internet universe.
The whole internet universe.
I don't know. I could do it again.
I love it. Thank you, sir, so much for that. That's Detroit Darcy from Detroit Lions News joining us, talking about Detroit Lions football. Be sure, folks, to put your comments in. Let us know what you think about this discussion. If you've got a question you want to ask us, we will give you a terrible answer. We will give you a terrible take. It's guaranteed. And I'd like to remind everyone to join us for our second annual live NFL draft event on Thursday, April 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be going live. We're going to have special guests. We're going to have super fans from other teams, analysis, some jokes, maybe some music. Oh, yeah. And we're going to give you the picks as they come off the board as fast as possible as allowed by law. That's April 27th at 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going live on Facebook for the NFL draft. If you're poor, like Darcy, and you have to wear double-bladed skates and you can't afford cable, check out the Main Event on Facebook Live, and we will give you all the draft results as they come out. And in honor of that, Darcy, let's talk about the draft for a minute. At 6, the Lions, and everybody, of course, wants the Lions to trade back, but if we're stuck with 6, give me a couple of names that you're okay with the Lions taking at 6. And that could be anything. That could be Bryce Young. I mean, we know he won't be there, but just give me 2 names. That
you can't do this to me. I don't do shows because I work on Saturdays and I don't follow college football. So that's why I don't do anything right now.
Are you familiar with anyone in the draft?
I listen to Michigan football on the radio when I'm driving truck. That makes me an insider? No.
Oh, that's all right. How about we hit you want to run to so let's talk about this Holmes, Campbell, and Goff set that up, Mike, with the football trinity.
Right. So heard an interview this week with Mr. Khan, the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars, or as our good friend Tom Novans would say, the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Mr. Khan, who's worth only, I think, about $18 billion. They asked him, how were the Jaguars able to go from worst to first with having the first pick in the draft and then winning the division the next year? And he brought a great point. He said because he finally cracked the code that he needed to complete the Trinity, which is a good general manager, a good head coach, and a good quarterback, a franchise quarterback. Yep. And he finally did that. He had the GM in Trent Baalke. He had the quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, but he didn't have the coach. And, of course, that's a backhanded slam at Urban Meyer. But then when Doug Peterson came in, he was like the last puzzle, the cheat code. So we're seeing this high-profile exposure of the general managers. I think it was a Sports Illustrated list just came out this week listing the top 10 general managers in the league. And Brad Holmes was coming in at number 7 on the league. Howie Roseman from Philadelphia was number 1. And these real cowboy guys like Mickey Loomis from New Orleans and Brett Veach from Kansas City. These guys are so much more high profile these days than they used to be. I mean, in the old days, you were lucky if you knew just the general manager of your own team. But Brad Holmes, these guys, they become an integral part. And it really got us thinking about that holy trinity. And we started to look right inside the NFC North. And it appears to us here at the Main Event that Dan Campbell, Brad Holmes, and Jared Goff are the only real intact trinity in this division. And with that being said, Darcy, give me your thoughts on that. Brian Gutekunst, or Gutekunst, whatever it is, and a new quarterback, Jordan Love, and Eberflus. Are these guys proven? Are they a trinity? Or Ryan Poles and Justin Fields and Matt LaFleur, Eberflus, I got them backwards. And then, of course, Kwesi, O'Connell, and Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. Do you think any of those guys can compare with the trinity the Lions have here?
Well, seriously, if you're going to do your income taxes, you want to probably go to Minnesota and go talk to Kwesi, because basically he's gotten fleeced by the Detroit Lions in the last 2 years. Basically, he should never take a phone call from the Detroit Lions at all anymore, because he's gotten mollywopped in all his decisions. We've gotten JMO from him. The TJ Hawkinson trade, our tight end scored more touchdown than TJ Hawkinson did. So the way
so that rules them out. They also offered an extension. Their quarterback offered to take a pay cut and restructure, and they said no. So obviously they don't have their franchise quarterback either. So that's a good call out with Minnesota. What else you seeing in this division?
Well, we'll keep on with Minnesota. So you only got, I think they only have 5 picks. Am I correct with that? But
something like that.
They're going to have to grab a quarterback at one of these times, because all the other teams are reloading in this division. And the Minnesota Vikings could realistically look at a good drought. And it's looking that way. Like, you're an NFL fan. I'm an NFL fan. Russell's an NFL fan. We've known what it looks like to go 0-16, and it's looking like Minnesota could do that. Green Bay Packers, they've drafted well for the last forever. So I think they've got a lot of depth. They got a good base. They got a great coach, I guess. He's went 13-3. How many times? 3 times in a row until he got 8 wins. So, and then Chicago, it's just who knows? I love Justin Fields. Justin Fields I think he's going to run the North eventually. As long as, if they do everything right in their draft, with their free agent, with their money, I think Chicago could be, neck and neck with the Detroit Lions.
Wow. Playoffs. So somebody says Justin Fields could run the North eventually, and Ken Bear Down Dobie magically appears as soon as someone says it. How are you tonight, Ken? Enjoying that Florida sunshine?
No, greens from Puerto Vallarta.
Puerto Vallarta.
I wish I had Ken's money.
Yeah, well, he's retired. Oh, Puerto Vallarta. How nice, my friend. Welcome back to the show. I hope you're well.
Doing well. Thanks, guys. So, he is going to be king of the North. So at least Darby got one thing right in his life. But
I love that you're soaking it up. That someone said Justin Fields is going to run the North, and I love it more that you called him Darby. That's even
Darcy. Oh, Darcy. What's all the same? The official vacation hat, by the way.
If you know Bill Nesmith, he calls me all sorts of names.
Hey, Ken,
I can call him owned by Mike, owned by Bears fans worldwide. I mean, many names for him.
There you go. Hey, Ken, I wanted to ask you something. Last time we talked, I was asking you to mock what you thought the Bears were going to draft, and you chose Paris Johnson, the tackle from Columbus. And was it you that said that? No, it was the other Bear fan. It was Mike, the Bear fan, that said that.
Yeah. Ken is all about Bijan Robinson.
Oh, that's right.
Bijan or bust, baby.
Yep. All right. That's right, baby.
Well, have you done any research on this Paris Johnson?
Not much. I don't really.
I did this week because I heard an interview with him on satellite radio, and I went and looked at his highlight reel. Okay, I looked at the tape. No, I went on YouTube and I looked up his highlight reel because I had seen the couple of games that Columbus played against Michigan, which they lost. Go Blue! But I want to say that this kid, you don't hear nothing about him. He's so quiet. He's over there dominating at left tackle, absolutely dominating. And then you listen to this interview with him. He's all about football. His dad played in the league. He's been training with NFLers since he was a high schooler. If you guys don't take this guy at left tackle with pick number 9, I'm calling it out right now. You're fools, because he's going to play in the league for 15 years.
Here's the problem, Mike. Here's the problem. Does he fit the scheme? Does he fit what Foles wants? Just because he looks great doesn't mean he's going to fit all the blocks that Ryan Foles is looking for. There's been talk about a couple other people the Bears may look at. It's like, yeah, but he's not a Foles guy. He doesn't fit the scheme. He doesn't check some block that Foles has. So, yeah, I mean, while he may be a great left guard, left tackle, whatever, He may not fit the scheme, may not fit the system. Not every great player we see tape on means he's a great fit for your team. Like Joey Porter Jr. looks great on tape, might not be a good fit for Detroit, might not be a good fit for Chicago. You see what I'm saying? I mean, just because these players are good doesn't mean they fit our systems.
You like that? No, and that's easy to understand, especially when you're talking about defensive linemen or something like that, or off the ball linebackers. But an offensive lineman, particularly a left tackle, they've got the same job on every team, Ken. Protect the blind side of the quarterback so he can stand in the pocket and pass. Now, your quarterback doesn't stand in the pocket and pass, so I guess I see where you're going with that.
No, he will, and we're pretty solid at left tackle right now. We're looking for a right tackle is what we're looking for. If you use a right tackle, you might have a better argument, but the Bears, I think, are happy at left tackle. That's why I'm thinking Bijan is just more of an easy fit answer for the Bears because scheme-wise, he fits. He can catch on the back. He can block on the right, which is where we need the help the most right now. He's a game changer when he touches the ball and he runs. He can game wreck. I mean, that's the component the Bears are missing that we didn't have with David Montgomery. Montgomery did all that except game-wrecking runs.
Yeah, but you guys love Khalil Herbert. I mean, every time we would talk about the run backs, you guys would just beam about Khalil Herbert, and he was young, and he's so great, and he's going to take over. He's going to push Montgomery out. Now, here it is. 2 weeks after Montgomery's out the door, you're talking about draft a running back.
Well, first off, I never said that. Secondly, I will beam about him because he is a great scout back. He's a great second back to a prime starter. He's a guy that by himself won't be your every down guy who can hit home runs all the time. However, you put him behind a Bijan who's going to, trash defensive lines and linebackers and make offensive coordinators worry. Then you mix it up with him, with Khalil Herbert. Now it's a whole different look, whole different style. He can get some openings, and he's gone. But he doesn't create the openings. He's a guy who does it for him, like Montgomery did for him. If you look at the game that Montgomery was out last year and Herbert started, his numbers weren't that good. His numbers were a lot better when he was in a game with Montgomery. He's not a standalone back. He needs someone else. Bijan's that guy.
Calling all Bear fans. Calling all Bear fans. You have trash on the offensive and defensive line, and this man is calling for a running back to be drafted at number 9. Please get in the comments and let him know he has lost his mind.
No, because he helps with the O-line. Like having a stud running back like that helps your O-line. He'll help soften up the D-line for the O-line. Offensive lines are always better in the rush in the rushing game than the passing game.
But
so
you
with
could
a threat
get
like
Tajay
him,
Spears. You could get Tajay Spears in the 3rd round. You could get Jahmyr Gibbs at the back. You could trade back and get Jahmyr Gibbs away. Why take a running back at 9 when you're the Bears? If you're the Eagles,
I can get a right tackle.
You're loaded, and it's a luxury.
I can get a right tackle.
First round pick on a running back. I don't care if it's the second coming of Barry Sanders or Walter Payton. Right now, the state of this team, they don't need a running back. They just picked up Deontay Foreman.
You're being short-sighted, Mike. I've got 2 years to fix this team, not one. I got 2 years. I got 2 first-round draft picks next year. I can get a right tackle in the 2nd or 3rd round that's going to service me for this year and build towards the future. And then next year I can go out and get 2 studs in the 1st round. I'm not going to find a Bijan in the 1st round or the 2nd round next year.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead, Darcy.
Go ahead, Darcy.
So don't you want to protect your franchise quarterback? Like usually you want to build through the trenches, and that's what the Detroit Lions did when we drafted Penei Sewell. That's what we did. We only got 3.5 wins, but we protected Jared Goff.
No,
and then
I hear you.
Next year we went defense and got Aiden Hutchinson. So you build through the trenches. That's what you do. Ryan Poles last year, what did he do to protect his young quarterback? 0. Braxton Jones.
True. You got a left tackle. That protects. He's got a left tackle. He's got a high PFF rating, and he got him in the 5th round protecting the quarterbaap.
He can get. We can get. That's what you invested. That's my point. And sure, you hit on him. Sure, you hit on him. But
we hit.
That's 30% of all draft picks hit. 5th rounders. That number is way small. So Mike,
whether it be 1st or 5th round, what's the 1st round hit rate? It's not even 50%. First round hit rate.
For running backs, it isn't. No, it is not.
No, for running backs, it's good. Most of them make it past their first contract. Believe it or not.
I should go get that thing that that Tom shared into the main event.
What do we got in the comments, brother?
Let me check out. I got kicked out. My internet booted.
So
me.
Mike says
we need
So Mike
followers,
says-
folks. We need 9 followers to get to 1,000. You hear me?
Listen,
9 more.
Russell,
need
make
9,
me
like the Bears
make,
picking number 9.
Russell, make me an admin, and I will put the Detroit Lions news as.
So Ken Dobie
Should
wants
I
Bijan
trust
Robinson.
him?
What do we got in the comments?
You could boot
So-
me out.
so-
like
You know,
I
we
said.
got Mike Carrico is in there.
Yeah.
I think Mike likes Paris. I like Paris too. Ken is high on Bijan. Yeah, I can't. My eyesight. Bears will draft an offensive tackle.
Mike
So
the
he,
Bear fan, good call out. And he's the one that's been saying Paris Johnson. That's
Yeah.
what got me intrigued about it. This kid's a
and either
blue
way,
chip.
I'm good. And either
Hey,
way, I'm
hey,
good. But the
Mike.
problem with Paris Johnson, he has to be able to play the right.
hey, Mike, you ready for this?
Yeah,
John Dorn's in the comments.
Oh.
yeah.
Fields
Fields
is
garbage. There it is. Fields garbage.
Yeah, there it is.
Fields is garbage. Okay. So yeah, there's the John Dorn spotting. John, you got to get some new material, brother. I mean, I know that you don't like Fields, but I mean, write a joke or something like,
Yep.
or
Simple lines.
Well,
You guys
he
remember
did.
when you went to your grandparents and that you put the record on and it kept skipping back and back and back? The same old song kept.
Same old lines. Fields
I mean,
garbage. Same old
I mean,
lines.
hey,
Fields garbage.
make fun of the fact that Fields like rushed for like 250 yards against the Lions, but yet threw a pick six to seal the game for us, for the Lions.
Hey,
to win.
Russell.
So,
Russell, he did make a joke. He has made several jokes.
Fields is garbage.
Jordan,
Fields
no,
is
his
garbage.
his joke is Jordan Love's the starter. His other joke is the Packers will win 12.
Yeah.
His other joke is Jordan Love is the next coming. His other joke is Jordan Love is actually good. I mean, he's got lots of jokes.
Okay. Yeah. That, you see, it worked. All of that razzing, and here comes John Dorn, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay.
I'm throwing
Okay,
it back
there
in
goes
there.
the
All we
Hey,
need
I'm gonna
now,
jump
all
off
we
then.
need now is a Minnesota Viking, and that reminds me to remind you that every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, we go live on Monday night at 7 p.m. It's the NFC North Open Mic, and it is it's not in-depth football analysis; it's pretty much shit talking. So come on Monday nights. And rip Ken Dobie a new one because he doesn't care. He's on vacation.
Damn.
Hey, but Mike, if we take Paris, I won't be put this way. If we take offensive tackle, I will not be upset. I just really like Bijan. I think any team that drafts him is going to be severely happy with him. I mean, if the Lions could draft Bijan, if you guys landed Bijan, you'd be like, oh yeah, look at with your offensive line stat, you like to throw out there about 4 yards before contact with a guy like Bijan. Every time he touches the ball should be a touchdown. You know what I mean?
well,
All right,
the guy
there's a
is a
joke.
cut
Somebody
above.
told a joke. I wanted to make it aware that that Brent told a joke, and before I put it up, it's going to be funny for everybody. So, you guys ready?
Ready.
Yeah.
All right, read it out.
Want a joke? The Vikings will win the North this season.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh, that was awesome. Thank you for that for that comment. We have just between the last time you talked, we went up one follower. We're at 992. We are 8 away.
I feel like Jerry Lewis on the telethon.
Only we're not.
Hey, we'll either way-
only we're not
Ken
doing
Dobie,
any good for
Ken
anybody.
Dobie, I want to say that's a brave pick for the Bears to take a running back with the 9th over pick. I'd say hats off to you. In fact, take that hat off.
It's the official
so
vacation hat.
Hey, he's on vacay, man.
He's in Puerto Vallarta wearing that hat, drinking a Bud Light, having a good time. Picking Bijan Robinson at 9 for the Bears. Take some.
Oh.
Is John Dorn?
I mean, look
coming
at
in?
this.
Hey,
Look
I
at
thought
that. It's
he was.
gorgeous, bro.
We've been waiting for him, and Detroit Darcy's over there waiting patiently. Hey, you should send me an invite to join that group. I don't know if I'm part of that group yet. The
Detroit Lions news?
Yeah, the news, not the big one. I don't know. Maybe I am.
Yeah.
Well, they don't really put on much news, Russell. I mean, you got to understand, this is Darcy.
Oh,
They don't put on much
I'm going to
news.
jump off here, and John Dorn is probably going to come on. But Make me an admin, and then I'll put it as a destination, and then just delete me.
Okay, so what we'll do? How about for tomorrow night? Let's make this, because this was
Okay.
kind of spontaneous.
Right.
So I don't even know how much longer we're going to be on for tonight.
But I don't know if you
for
guys.
Tomorrow, NFC North open mic, 7 p.m.
I can't do
Eastern
that
time.
though. I can't have anybody swear on it, otherwise he's going to boot me. You got to make sure you have good people on.
Is John Dorn coming in?
So from 6:30 until 7 o'clock, we'll be on that Detroit Lion News show. We won't swear on the Lion segment, but
Yeah, okay.
how's that sound? Does that
perfect.
sound like a deal?
Just
Okay.
make me an admin to it. I'll put it as a destination. And then you can boot me after.
Okay, Darcy. Okay.
We're
Thanks
good
for
at
coming
booting
on, Darcy.
people, aren't we?
We're
See you guys.
Take it
Later,
easy.
Darcy. Enjoy.
You know, I need to invent something. I need to invent a virtual hook. You remember that hook they used to pull performers off stage with? Wouldn't that be cool if you had like a little graphic that pulled the screen right off? You give him the hook. That'd be great.
Hey, Russell's already.
You know
Look at
what?
Russell's already palming the hands. He's got something up his sleeve for that.
With what?
With the hook.
You're like, oh yeah,
Oh,
virtual
yeah,
hook. Yeah, I could do that.
You know, that would be fun. You know, I want everybody to be able to have a forum, and that's at the end of the day what we want here with the main event, is to be able to get people on and then get people off. That way they can come in and have an uninterrupted take. So we've been writing the Den Commandments.
The Den Commandments.
The Den Commandments.
Thou
And,
shalt not punt.
Oh, you know, the main
enough of that shit.
But I love Main Event Mike. He's the guy. So that's the first thing, is Main Event Mike is the host, the tribal chief, the guy with all the questions, the one who calls on you to speak.
Ooh.
You like that? You like that? And number one, don't speak out of turn. We want to allow each participant to have their own space for their own take. And then when they're done, everybody can tell them what a dumbass take it was. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a form,
Number 3. What's number 3, Russ?
And he froze right as you asked him that. Tell number 3.
Did his screen freeze?
Yeah, he froze.
I think his screen froze.
The best was when Mike. You saw the short that Mike made of Darcy, right?
Ah, yeah.
The reel.
Yeah.
That was great. That was classic. Yeah. That was a Russell moment. Russell's
we had some rough front ends before, so I kind of just treated him like Voldemort, where you don't say his name.
Yeah. Hey, I can't wait. What are we? A week from Thursday from the draft? Thank God.
A week from Thursday, Ken. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. It's every year, Ken. There's always some drama, right? Something happens. So I got a couple of bold predictions. I want to hear some bold predictions for you. I'm going to give you one, and then you give me one. This is a bold prediction for draft day. Okay, maybe not so bold. My bold prediction for draft day is the Washington Commanders trade up to get a quarterback from 16.
Yeah,
there's either going to be a bold prediction.
And you know what? That goes in tandem with my bold predictions. I've been seeing more articles on this. Now it's clickbait. But Richardson will go number 1 to Carolina, meaning the Redskins will jump either 6 or 9 to get a quarterback.
Wow. Actually, Russ Wayne called that the day after Chicago made the trade. Yep. Russ called Carolina's going to take Anthony Richardson because his combine happened right before that. So, boy, that would be strange. I'm hearing nothing but C.J. Young or Bryce Stroud going number 1.
You inverted their names.
Did you catch that? C.J. Young or Bryce Stroud?
Look at John Dorn's
there he is. Our number one Green Bay Packer fan and number 1 Chicago Bear, Detroit Lion hater. He's like a super villain. His name is John Dorn. Welcome to the program, sir.
You've had enough of that shit.
Hey, just chilling, talking to Ken and making up jokes behind his back about that hat he's wearing.
Hey,
the official vacation hat, baby.
Now. He's on the ship, looks like, or something.
No, he's in Puerto Vallarta, bro. Look at that.
Go. Where's the fishing pole, man?
Does your wife know?
They're inside watching a movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not going to be a real good vacation. Then.
No kidding. Yeah.
It's not going to be a good one.
You know
The
what?
best ones,
Can I
the
put
best
a
ones have the wives at home.
I got a question for the Lions fans.
Go ahead, John.
No, I heard something about maybe the Vikings might want to trade up to 6 to get a quarterback. What would you think about that? If they,
God, I would love it. I would love it because Brad Holmes would fleece them so hard.
Exactly.
Tell him, Russ.
Exactly.
Oh, I mean, you must be Quessy.
I think they really want that hooker, and the only way they're going to get him, any chance at him, be at 6.
That's a great call.
Normally,
I don't think he's going to make it to 23.
Normally I'd say, yeah, you're smoking crack, but however,
bear down.
The Lions and the Vikings made an in-season trade of all things. Usually, you don't trade within the division.
Right.
Something like that. Normally, you'd be like, yeah, no, there's not going to. It's like, oh yeah, the Packers are going to move down to 9. No, the Bears would never make a trade with the Packers. I mean, even if we needed it, we wouldn't do it. But the fact that the Vikings are willing to trade within the division as much as they do, kind of makes you just kind of take pause and wonder, if, that might happen. And if it does, I agree with you, Mike. I think you guys fleeced the hell out of the Vikings.
Well, I'll tell you what. Brad Holmes called it archaic thinking. He said it's archaic to think that you wouldn't trade within the division. Why not? If it's good for my football team, I'm going to do it. And you think about all the time. Sure, that guy might come back and burn you later, but you can't worry about what other teams and other people are going to do. You can only worry about control your controllables. And isn't that what we live by in life and in business to keep us happy? Is we don't sweat the things we can't control. And I think it's wonderful that they're doing this. And Brad Holmes has taken advantage of him both times, I think. And if they're talking about going up to 6, I know a lot of Lions fans would be happy with that.
You imagine having another 2 fucking first rounds next year too for the Lions?
I know. John Dorn's a closet Lions fan. I know that. He already said he likes Dan Campbell.
Actually, Dan Campbell. Actually, I do like Campbell. Why do you guys think I hate him? I don't hate him. I
know you said it.
You just.
I don't think he's a good coach. He's a great motivator, great thing else, great person, but he's not a good head coach.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing that he hired good coaches to,
exactly.
coach all
Ben
the players.
Johnson.
Ben Johnson.
I would be honest.
I was watching McAfee. I was watching McAfee the other day, and he was on there. Dan Campbell, great guy, on there.
Yeah.
I mean, and he was saying like two of those calls, like Sewell, when that cut that one first down, Sewell, your offensive lineman. He was actually wasn't even paying attention, and Ben Johnson said, "Hey, we run this play, blah blah blah," and Dan came out and said straight out, says, "I wasn't even paying attention. I only caught like the end of it. Yeah, go ahead, whatever." And all of a sudden, I seen that play go, and I seen him catch it. He was like, "What the hell?"
I think he was joking, John.
Yeah.
He was joking. He was joking.
And then he said,
"You're talking about the Panay Sewell catch."
Yep.
Yeah.
And then he said the other one, the 4th and 26 on his own end zone, whatever. Yeah, he was watching the fucking, how everybody raised their hands, go around and around. He was watching that, and he caught half of that too. And he said, "Yeah, go for it," and all of a sudden they're like, "What? A big punt?" He wasn't ready for that.
Russ and I called that when it happened.
Is he clueless?
He's gonna fake it. He's gonna fake it. The way he was acting, he was like, "Oh, whatever." It was total acting. That was.
You know what, though? To be honest, though, your head coach doesn't have to be a smart football guy.
No.
Your head coach just has to hire smart football guys as OC, DC, and so on. A great head coach can motivate the team to execute what his great coaches plan out. I mean, I would rather have that. Like, look at Lovie Smith, great defensive coach. Ditka's, you can almost say that with Ditka. Ditka was a great motivator. He didn't call plays. He didn't call the defense. A great motivator who hires the right people and manages the team properly is a better head coach than Dan Reeves or any of these smart football guys.
And players want to actually come to the Lions to play for them. Sutton even said yesterday, he came out and said, "Hey, I want to play for for the Lions," and
It's
so
almost
I
two schools of thought, really. It's that great motivator, what they call a player's coach, like Dan Campbell, right? And then you've got these brilliant minds. I love that you mentioned Dan Reeves, right? And there's also like Mike Martz and these guys who are the greatest of all time, probably Bill Walsh, who was, these cerebral, geniuses of the game.
Yeah.
It's almost like two different styles, two different kinds of coaches. Andy Reid obviously is that way, the technical genius.
Well, look at Buddy Ryan. Buddy Ryan was a great defensive coordinator, terrible head coach.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, Lovie Smith is a great defensive coordinator, terrible head coach.
Charlie Weiss, great coordinator, terrible coach.
Yep.
Yep. Great call out right there. Interesting. So, Ken Dobie, I wanted to ask you about the Trinity. Something that the owner of the Jaguars had said sparked my interest this week, that they finally found they cracked the code to be a successful NFL team. You got to have a good general manager, a good head coach, and a good quarterback, franchise quarterback. Is there anybody in the NFC North that you see that has that Trinity?
I would say right now there's one team that probably doesn't have it, and that would be Green Bay. I would say the Vikings are suspect, and I'd say the Bears and Lions have it.
Okay,
Really?
so he says the Packers don't have it. So, John Dorn, we're talking about your general manager, Gutekunst, your quarterback, Justin Fields, and your head coach, what is it? What is it?
LaFleur and Love.
LaFleur. Guy looks like he smells like patchouli oil. So tell me, does your team have the Trinity with those three?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, gosh.
They've been together 3 fucking years. Fucking Love knows that book inside and out. Come on, man. He's fucking young. He's hungry, man. He
hasn't proven himself to be the franchise quarterback, John. So the answer is no.
So hasn't
not
Fields.
yet.
What is Fields showing? Nothing.
Fields
And
is
he
the
got
franchise
one.
quarterback.
They don't have that part of the Trinity either. And if they don't take this tackle from Columbus, I don't think they're the GM either.
Actually, John and Mike, you're both wrong because Poles has already said he's a franchise quarterback, and he singled that with the trades
He's
and the
not a
needs in the
franchise. He's a
offseason.
bridge quarterback
He
until
is-
next year until you draft a new one.
He is the franchise quarterback. So for now, I'd say they have the only reason, John, I say you don't have the Trinity up there is because, like Mike said, Love isn't the franchise quarterback yet. Now, look, if Love becomes the franchise quarterback this year, then in
He's
technical
gotta
terms of
prove
what Con is saying, and hold on, John. If Love goes out and does what you think he's going to do and becomes the franchise quarterback, then you have what Con says. You have your Holy Trinity. Now, how good is your Holy Trinity? Who knows?
Yeah, but Fields is fucking showing he's fucking garbage, man. How many fucking fumbles he has, how many interceptions he has. Going in year 2, that should be like that.
We do have a question. We do have a question from the gallery. This question says, "Hey, John Dorn, what color is a football?"
Yeah, that's from Mike Reed.
And this one's from John Dorn.
He said
Fields
green.
is garbage.
Fields is garbage. Yeah, total hot garbage.
Did you just
You know
put
what's
his
funny?
own take over his face? That was awesome.
Hey,
Fields is garbage.
you know what's funny,
he's
John?
garbage.
Guess who had a higher PFF last year
How many wins
over
did he
Aaron
have?
Rodgers?
How many wins did he
Guess who
have?
had a higher PFF than Aaron Rodgers?
Oh,
Yeah, 3
man.
fucking wins. How many wins total?
That was Justin
5 wins
Fields.
total? Yeah, Fields
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, I mean,
We're all going to be eating crow. I'll tell you what, we're all going to be eating crow if Justin Fields does turn out to be what these Bears fans think he's going to be. That's for sure.
You can't sit behind a fucking line.
Okay.
What's going on, fellas?
It's Bill the Packer fan.
What's up, man? What's up?
What's up?
The Rockford Renegade.
The Rockford Renegade, huh? Too bad I'm not in Rockford anymore, but okay.
Wow, for a Packer fan, your sound's popping, man. I like you got some baritone to that voice.
Yeah, right. What you guys up to tonight?
Just talking about football, ragging on Bears.
Oh, it sounds good. I must have came in at the right time.
That's your favorite topic.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing, Bill.
Where you at,
Fields
Ken?
is the MVP this year.
What we're doing is we're sending private messages in the chat back and forth about Ken's hat.
Hey, I'm in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. This is the official vacation hat, so you know.
Oh, it
Right
blows away right in the ocean.
Hey, I'll be right back, guys.
So, Ken, how long is this, an extended vacation?
No, we just got back from PR a couple weeks ago. This was one we were supposed to take last June, but my wife had a motorcycle accident, so we had to postpone it.
Man,
So
that's a nice
this is
life,
that
my
trip.
friend. I knew I should have joined the damn military right when I got out of high school.
Oh.
I knew it.
Well, Mike in June we're going to Carousel too, so you know.
Wow, now it must be nice. While I continue to work 3 jobs and run Packer fans into the ground at night for fun.
Yeah.
And you're not too successful at that either.
No, right. I'm broke. So try to help us out and help us get to 1,000 followers. Go over to the Main Event 365 Facebook page and follow the page so we can make it to 1,000 by the end of this program. It's our muscular dystrophy telethon that we're running here today for followers.
And that's why we got Ken on.
Ken Dobie is going to juggle 3 bottles of Bud Light. If I can get 2 more followers right now.
Come on.
Not Mexico.
Bill,
He's also wearing a
Bill,
Speedo.
You better
Pretty
be
sad
a
when the
follower.
Lions can't even get 1,000 fucking likes. It's pretty sad.
Popcorn John says, nope, not today.
That's today. Try again next week.
What we need is what we need in here is a Minnesota Viking fan to complete the circle.
Where's your man?
Where's Rob? Where's Haskell's at?
Hey, come on, Ken. We don't want to homerize the program. You know what I mean?
Well, no, you want to know how to throw up the skull sign into the sky? We just need to start talking about how awful they are and how they haven't done shit except for
Yeah,
now, don't be so hard. They did sign a backup tight end for $7 million a year.
Yep.
That's crazy.
And by the way, thanks for that 2nd round pick.
I mean, Chrysler, what? They only got like 1,000 in their pocket, or 1 million in their pocket. They got only 5 draft picks. How are they going to fix that fucking mess?
And Kirk,
You know what? John, it's a good question, but here's the answer, because we see this with the Vikings. It's a cycle. Last year they won the division. They're going to suck for 2 years, and then they'll be really good in like 3 years again. It's a cycle with them. Seriously, look at the Vikings the last decade. They're really good for a year. They may win the division and get in the playoffs, and they suck for 2. Then they're good for a year. Then they suck for 2. Then they're good for a year.
That's
I mean,
keen observation. They haven't drafted
that's their cycle.
They haven't drafted a starting quarterback I can remember in 15 years.
That's
Who was the last one they?
Teddy Bridgewater?
That's what I'm saying.
Who was the last quarterback they drafted?
Was Teddy Bridgewater?
no,
Bridgewater. They
Kellen Mond.
yeah.
Mond, yeah.
Yeah, but he's not he was never a starting quarterback. I'm saying, who have they ever
Bridgewater.
drafted?
He was just a wasted 2nd round pick.
No, I think they drafted Bridgewater. Bridgewater may be the last one they drafted.
What about
But
Sam
I think
Bradford? Did he go there first, or was that?
No, he was traded in or something like that, right? He won the offseason.
Billy,
Yeah,
you texted
so maybe that's
Sullivan.
why. Maybe what you're saying
Yeah,
is
I'm
true,
trying to
Ken.
get some Viking fans.
They drop in a veteran quarterback, and
Let's
they
see who
can
shows
never
now.
get good enough to make it. And even when Randall Cunningham went there, I mean, this is an interesting thing I never thought about. You look at the Packers; they draft a quarterback, they develop a quarterback, they treat that quarterback like shit after they draft his replacement and run him out of town. There's a pattern here. The Lions just stink every year. And the Bears, God, we don't even want to talk about a quarterback.
They get a quarterback, they throw them out to the Wolves, and then they get fucking garbage, and then
The Bears do draft quarterbacks, but
they just don't work out. And they Patrick Mahomes. Maybe this is it.
The last one we drafted that won anything was Jim McMahon. After that, I mean, Rex Grossman went to a Super Bowl, but Rex Grossman was a not that good of a quarterback to begin with. Cutler did well, but he was traded for. So the Bears, it's always been about drafting defense and getting running backs. We think about we win 85 on not only one of the best defenses ever, but we actually had a good quarterback in McMahon that year. The offense put up some numbers that get overshadowed by that defense. But from that point forward, when Cutler's best season, they were number 2 in offense in the league, but we had the worst defense. That was the biggest waste for Cutler. But I mean, we built defenses. Now it's the shift.
We were so close to breaking the record of talking to a Bears fan before they mentioned 1985.
That was because the last time that was the last quarterback we drafted.
Man. Just like 2 more minutes, Ken, and we would beat the record.
But no, I don't bring up the 85 Bears as like, the 85 was great. It was like that was the last time. That was the last time we drafted a truly good quarterback for that 85 team, which was Jim McMahon. He was the last.
Jim McMahon was a truly good quarterback. Good.
He was rookie of the year. Well, he was rookie of the year.
Hey, Ken, is that hat on kind of tight, buddy?
Yeah. No, well, think about it. He was rookie of the year, won the Super Bowl, then he sustained the injury against the Packers, and his career kind of went down. But he was a good quarterback statistically. Look at his numbers for his first couple years through the Super Bowl. He was a good quarterback.
Well, I will give you that it was the greatest defense of all time. I will give you that. Right up there with the Steel Curtain, in my opinion. That defense was amazing. Their Super Bowl run was amazing. But they had that defense, and they had Walter Payton, and Jim McMahon overthrew receivers all year. You don't believe me?
I don't know.
Go watch the reruns.
You couldn't overthrow Willie Gault. You could not overthrow Willie Gault. Willie Gault was so damn fast, you couldn't overthrow that guy. You could try.
I love that you have a Willie Gault jersey on your wall at
West
home.
Coast in the
Speedy Willie.
Oh, man.
What's up, Greg?
All right, we're going to have to take it seriously now because we just got a good football mind in here. He
Don't
doesn't
say
have
that.
great
I've already been in here, Mike. I've already been in here for about 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, Bill's
geez.
shooting that shit.
Welcome to the program. He is the Lions fan on the West Coast. He's our West Coast stat master, Greg Rice. Welcome to the program, Greg.
What's up, gentlemen? Hope everyone's having a good day.
We are. We're trying to run the Vikings through the mud to draw one onto the show tonight. They're an easy target. They're kind of in hiding because I think they know their offseason has been historically bad, and they're just out there defending it. Tell us what you think.
I mean, look, man, their whole defense, in my opinion, predicates on whether Davenport can actually stay healthy. Look, man, I love this kid coming out of college. I think the Saints traded up with the Packers, 2 first-round picks to get him. And so I love this kid coming out of college. Unfortunately, I think 4 out of 5 of his years, this guy has not played anywhere near a full season. So if he's able to stay on the field and they're able to mix him up with Z and Danielle Hunter, I think they'll be okay. If he doesn't, man, this Vikings defense, it could be as bad as last year, even with the addition of Flores.
You've had enough of that shit.
Wow. Good take.
Well, look, they're doing so good, they're going to cut Dalvin Cook, so you know.
You think they're going to cut him?
Reports are saying now. Reports are saying that the Vikings are going to cut Dalvin Cook and the Bears are going to cut Bear fan Ken.
In that order. In that order. I love it, Bill.
Well, I mean, they lost Adam Thielen, Eric Kendricks, Patrick Peterson. I mean, it goes on and on.
Dalvin Tomlinson, man, they lost a lot.
If they lose Dalvin Cook, and then their quarterback says, you know, we can restructure my contract. Let's make a little room because I'm losing all my players, and it's going to absolutely suck next year. And they said, no, Kirk, that's okay. I think it's obvious that they're in a rebuild. What do you think, John Dorn? Vikings in a rebuild, and they're just not admitting it?
I think they're just wing it for this year. I think they're just going to wing it. I think they're going to try to get
good point.
They're going to try to get their camp under, and when they'll get rid of Cook. Hunter's probably be on the trade bait. I want Smith. They'll probably keep. They'll probably try to pressure him to stay. But otherwise, they got rummage sale going.
Or if they're just making it up.
They might be in the basement at the end of the year.
Well, is this Cousins? How many years does Cousins have left in his contract?
1 year. This is
1 year.
it.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they could have restructured. See, that's a weird thing because they could have restructured moving money to bonus off a salary to give them cap room and not extended years. So I don't know why. I mean, it's weird that they wouldn't restructure the deal if they kept it at 1 year.
I think he want an extension, though. He want an extension to do that. He'll be cheap, but he want extended.
They're sending a message, Ken.
Well, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Will Justin Fields still be the starting quarterback by the time the new stadium's built, or what?
Stop playing with us.
No.
You think they'll be on number 6 by then?
No, I think
Justin Fields will not be on the team, or he will not be the starting quarterback when that stadium is done. You can book that.
What's your thoughts?
Russell, you need to record what Mike just said because in 2 years when that stadium opens,
this stuff, baby.
Yeah,
we got
barring career-ending injury, I don't think the Bears are moving off the fields.
1 year from now, 1 year from right now, they will be.
So you're saying
1 year from right now? Hold on. 1 year from right now, they will be 2 weeks away from having to pick up his 5th-year option. So everything is, whether or not I'm right, is all going to be determined in this upcoming season, my friend.
put it this way: when we come in 2 years from now, I think Fields has a better chance of still being the starter in Chicago than Jordan Love has being the starter in Green Bay.
Think
Whoa.
of it this way also. What's the typical lifespan of a running quarterback? 4 or 5 years? What's it take to build a stadium? 4 or 5 years?
No, 2. They could break ground this year. It can be done in about a year, 2 years.
And I don't know if
Sell
you drove
them
past that
tickets.
facility, but it's still standing tall with every fence intact.
Yeah.
So you're talking about a complete tear down to a complete rebuild.
Hey,
Yeah, the
like
demo and site prep is going to be a year.
Yeah.
hey
Right.
Bill, what is this? Alish Martin saying that you're being mean to her, dude. What the hell? All this, all that.
Yeah, it's because Greg Rice banned her from the group.
Oh man. Hey,
Who did I ban from the group?
I don't know. They're complaining about something that got happened in the group.
I love when they complain in public, like we're like,
Let's
oh,
read it.
shit, like I
Yeah.
Let's
can't-
read it.
that's too much reading. I
Yeah,
never
because
learned to read.
When you're writing
All
paragraphs on the live feed, you
We've
gotta-
been drinking
Yeah.
Flint water, guys, so
Yeah.
reading's not,
Yeah.
Can I do
Yeah.
it? Hey, Mike, main
That's
event Mike, can I
funny.
do a quick little producer thing? I want to do something for Greg Rice. Greg, can you flip it to where the sun is in your face so we can see your beautiful face? And then
Shit, ask Ken.
It
Ken's
was at
out there
this
doing
moment
his
that he
group
knew.
thing, man.
He fucked up.
Ken's got a beautiful background, and that's all.
Yeah.
That's all natural,
That's
baby.
it, that's
And
Look at
just
that.
Jordan,
Ooh-wee.
Hey,
Can you
Ken,
tilt
got-
your camera down a little bit and then move it closer to you, unless you don't want us to see your face? I
Hey,
mean,
Ken, that's a dope green screen you got, though.
Yeah, Greg, you look like an anonymous informant. You look like an anonymous informant on the first 48.
Oh,
Hey, Russell,
all right.
and we need to do the voice modulation for Greg today because he's looking like the informant.
Yeah.
Greg,
Very
basically,
close
you don't want
captioning
the
on.
light behind you. You don't want
No,
the
I-
light.
I feel you. I just don't know what other angle I can get in this room right now.
Just a shade.
I'm in a.
Hey,
If
Greg.
you can't. If you can't,
Honestly,
you can't.
he's
That's okay.
never looked better.
Hey, Greg,
Thank you.
Hey, Greg, can you stand
Hey.
on your head? That would
All right.
probably help the
Can I
light.
stand on my head?
Yeah.
There's my other half.
Hey, Mike, I got a topic.
Hi, Mrs.
If you want to
Dobie.
get it back on.
I'll say hi.
She must be the brains
Hey.
of the operation.
She is, in fact, the brains of the operation. You're correct.
That is one badass green screen, dude. I don't even.
Yeah,
That's
like
amazing.
3D and shit.
I like that question. Is New York a slam dunk for fucking Super
Yeah.
Bowl contender with Rodgers? No.
Well, let's start with you on that then, John Dorn. When they get Aaron Rodgers with that defense, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, and some upcoming draft picks, assuming they don't get Aaron Rodgers till after June 1st, does that automatically make the Jets a Super Bowl contender?
No. They'll make the playoffs, but that's about it. I mean, Rodgers, right now, if he ain't going to OTAs and all that stuff, he's got to get good with those receivers and all that. And the timing, the coordinator, sure, he knows the book back of his hands. He's the fucking goddamn coach. Hackett is not the offense coordinator.
And
It's fucking,
GM.
yeah. Rodgers pretty much runs everything.
We're
Yeah.
gonna kick this question around the entire panel, but I want to ask the people out there watching at home, all 6 of you, what do you think? Do you think that the New York Jets will become an instant Super Bowl contender when Aaron Rodgers gets there? Bill, the Packer fan, what do you think?
I don't think so because in AFC there's a lot of good quarterbacks he's going to have
True.
to battle, especially in
true.
his own division. So I'm
Great
with Doran.
call out.
Yeah, I
he's
think-
gonna have to
yeah,
play
I think-
he's gonna have to play Josh Allen twice, Matt
Yeah.
Jones twice. He's gonna have to play Tua Tagovailoa, Jalen Waddle them twice.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
had to
gonna be
make-
tough. They also
I mean,
got to
he-
play the whole AFC West. Bill, they got to play the Chiefs, Raiders.
Wow.
They got to play the Chargers. So,
Damn.
and you've got
Yeah.
the Bengals, the Ravens. There's some good teams over there.
Yeah, he
I
had
mean,
it
I
over
think they're
here.
going to be pressed
He
just
did,
to make
Bill.
the playoffs. Greg Rice, what do you think? Where would you rank the Jets in the AFC with Aaron Rodgers? And let's assume they nail the draft also, because they have the last 2 years.
It really is a tough question to ask. Everything that you and Bill just touched on, like the competition, like Bill was alluding to, look, Aaron Rodgers has had it made in this division for over a decade. There hasn't been anyone consistently contending. The Bears
Right.
had like somewhat of a nice little run from 2005 to 2010 where they were competitive. They haven't really done anything else other than 2018. The Vikings, I feel like one out of every 2 or 1 out of every 3 seasons, they put something together, never goes anywhere. We all know the history with our Lions. You go to that AFC East and just that AFC conference, and I look at that roster and I feel that on paper it's a Super Bowl contending roster, but the fact that the AFC conference is just so loaded, man, and that just that division alone. Like, if you guys watch the offseason, the Dolphins have made some very impressive moves. They're definitely making moves to compete as if Aaron Rodgers is already in that division. So, and the Patriots are hard to count out too. Bill Belichick, if anything, whatever you think about Mac Jones, he always puts together a stellar defense. So, I'd like to say they are, but I don't know. We'll have to see, man.
Right, and that's a great call out. They're going to cannibalize each other in that division.
Yeah.
Right? Even if they go 3-3 in the division, they're going to have a tough road to hoe to make it to 10 wins with their schedule. And I mean, the parity in the NFL is right where the league wants it, where it's pretty even. So I also think they're going to have a tough road. I mean, getting the home field in the playoffs, barring they win the division, is going to be – they might get one game, but it's just going to be too many losses for them to run away and get home field throughout. But, hey, we could be wrong. But that's a great take. I appreciate that so much, Greg Rice. Next topic.
Okay, skip me again.
Well, go ahead, Ross.
I mean,
hey, wait a minute. You weren't even in my row of windows.
No, but you skipped me.
I've been paying no attention to the man behind the curtain, so every once in a while I'll just kind of pop out of the background right here. But Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I can't believe that everybody in this division hasn't really brought this up, because he's been torching everybody for the last 100 years. So he's going to go over to this other division. They ain't had a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers has never had an offensive line like that, not one time through, or a defense that is on that top 5 epsilon. I think it's a scary proposition to throw Aaron Rodgers into that thing, and I think it absolutely makes them a contender, instantaneously putting Aaron Rodgers on that team.
All right, so where would you rank them in the AFC? Rank them then.
Yeah, Russell, rank them.
Yeah, get him, Bill.
I think I'm not gonna go through and rank each. I mean, obviously, you got the Super Bowl winning Chiefs.
There's number one.
The Chiefs would be number one, but I think that they could make an argument and be right there with either Buffalo, with Cincinnati. I think that Baltimore, any of those, I think they're right there. I think they jump.
I think Bills are taking a downward spiral.
So
the problem
Rodgers
is
changes things.
I agree with Russell. He changes things, but this is a bad trade for the Jets, and it's a bad trade for Aaron Rodgers. Because look at, people are expecting Aaron Rodgers to come in there and make them a Super Bowl contender, and they're going to basically win right away. That's kind of the expectation. You get that feel from Jets fans and some other people, and even some Rodgers fans who are from Green Bay. But the problem is this: he's going to get to the Jets, and the Jets are going to be the Jets, and they're going to find a way to screw it up, and they're going to make the playoffs, sure, but they're not going to make a Super Bowl. Rodgers is going to get exposed as not being the great leader everyone thought he was, which will then cement what John and other guys from Packer fans have been saying this year who want him gone. It's a bad trade for both organizations. This is their Herschel Walker moment. Welcome to the show, New York.
Wow.
Can I give you?
That's a great take.
Is there any bias? Any bias in that, Ken?
If he had done it, if he had done it 4 years ago, that's a different story. But he's at the end of the career. This is like, trade me because of what I've done for the last decade plus, not for what I am now. Last year, statistically, one of his worst years ever. Like I said, Justin Fields had a higher rating than he did, John Dorn.
Ooh.
So I mean, look, he's not the Aaron Rodgers that makes those that would make those miracle passes and miracle comebacks that we knew in the division for the last decade. He's not that Aaron Rodgers anymore.
So let me guess. Justin Fields is that guy now, though, right?
No,
I was just going to give you an or. So I mean, look at what the Jets are going through right now with Zach Wilson, the MILF hunter out there. This is not. They're not going from a Hall of Fame quarterback, even though he might use that number. They're going from Zach Wilson. to Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers. There's
That is
nobody
quite
that's
elite.
going to turn on him in the first 6 months. They're
So-
going to give him. He's got a good solid year before that
So here's
media
the-
would turn on him.
And Russell, I get you, and I agree with you there. And you know what? The only silver lining for the Jets
The milk
is their
hunter.
intention.
Yeah.
Their intention is for him to train the middle hunter. Right?
Yeah.
That was their intent.
Sure,
we
yeah.
want. So I
Yeah.
mean, that's okay. That's smart on their behalf. There. That's like the one smart thing the Jets have said in this whole trade process is like, we want him to train Zach Wilson to be a true NFL quarterback. Okay, great. If you think that the guy who can't even go to OTAs to bond with those wide receivers is going to bond with your backup quarterback and teach him, good luck.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. That's a good take, Ken. I'm sorry that I skipped you on that last question, Ken. But
Oh,
we did
you're
get
good.
No. Facebook sends out the analytics, and we found out that we lose 22% of our viewership when you talk. So I've been trying to pare it
So,
back
a little
bit.
Jordan Love in here. The Jordan
Look,
Love
so-
in here. Oh, you got to
Oh,
feel
Jeff
it.
had a great comment. He
This
says
is
he
the
does
home
believe
of bad takes.
he
Woo!
does, he does believe that Aaron Rodgers will get them to at least the first round of the playoffs,
Oh,
which isn't a
minimal.
really big jump when you
Yeah.
consider they won 7 ball games last year, and then you drop in a future Hall of Famer
They can do
quarterback.
that easily.
I think that's a pretty safe observation that they
You know
absolutely
what
could
could
make
be a
the
big
playoffs.
shock? You know what could be a real big shocker during draft day? All of a sudden, it goes through and Jets go through their first round, and the next day, the second round, no trade yet. All of a sudden, the third round, well, there goes that. All of a sudden, guess what? Packers trade 49ers, Aaron Rodgers for two threes, and the next year's first.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
see
That
that.
would be insane if that happened.
And then Ken's gonna say, "I told you guys so."
I mean, look at it. But conversely,
I
but you know
called
what, Joe?
that months ago. I
Conversely,
always
though,
believed that the Niners would be the team that landed him in the end, but
well, I mean,
Yeah,
because
it
that's where he'd really
it looks
want
like
to
it's a
go.
foregone. The Jets
He
are
would
going to
wanna
look
go there, though.
stupid if
He
they
would.
That's
don't
his
get him.
best fit.
They're going to
Hey,
have
Bill.
Nathaniel Hackett
What's
and
up?
Alan Lazard, who no one else wants anyway. So they're going to look terrible if they don't get him.
No
I mean,
offense,
we're looking
Ken.
at-
First, we're gonna wake up and Bill's still gonna be in work over there because he's be able to make content about why they haven't traded Aaron Rodgers yet.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
mean, look at San Francisco's where. If you ask Rodgers where you'd really want to go, well, San Francisco's literally home.
Yeah.
So
that's
I mean,
where he
and
grew up.
could you imagine? Could you imagine though? If look at it, and I'll
wanna
say
go to
this: if
Chicago.
Rodgers ends up in San Francisco, just give him the Super Bowl trophy today. You had Rodgers,
I can
that
agree
San
that no one
Francisco
belongs
team,
in San Francisco more than
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers.
yeah, and they win the
I
Lombardi
get
with,
that, Mike.
Thank you.
and they
Thank
win
you,
the
Greg.
Lombardi with
Wow.
Rodgers.
Chin, that kind of went right over your head, but you're
That,
good.
that
Yeah, I
sent
got it.
Bill,
I
that
got it.
sent Bill right out of here.
Yeah, Bill's
Oh,
like,
jeez.
heck with that.
Well, what happened, Bill?
Yeah, he got
Oh.
scared. He thought Darcy might be coming back.
No, I'm just saying, actually, it could happen. I'm just saying.
It
But no,
could.
that's why Good. I doubt it. Gutekunst said from the start that he wouldn't go to an NFC team, and that's why. Because they don't want him going to
We're not
San Fran.
contending, but we're not contending for a Super Bowl or not right now. So why? I mean,
That-
What's
That's
his
my
name
thing
again?
too, Ken. That's my thing too,
well,
Ken.
we're not
Is
competing.
jump.
We're
Gouda.
not going to be competing for the Super Bowl or not.
Yeah,
So-
John
Or
brings
the
up a good
division.
point. Like that, yeah.
Gouda,
Maybe the division. I'm not going to
Or
count the
the
Packers out of that.
division.
This division is pretty
I don't
bad,
know.
Mike. This division is pretty bad. I'm not going to count
I'll
that
tell you
Packers
what,
Right now,
defense
it's
out.
up in the air. I got all 4 teams to win this division. This
Yeah,
year. All
me too,
4.
John. Me
To
too.
close out,
Any
to
team
close
would
out this
surprise me.
topic, to close out this topic, he very well might get the Jets to the playoffs. And Jeff, we appreciate your comment as well.
We do.
But I can tell you one thing. He's not going to go 13-3 in this division, and he's not
Oh,
going
no.
to get an MVP
God,
at
no.
13 wins.
He ain't going 13-3. Not in that
All
conference.
right. And joining us now is the Unabomber.
What's
we
up,
just
Darcy?
lost 10 viewers.
What up, Darcy?
Damn.
All right.
No,
All
it's,
right.
great show. I was watching it on my phone. And I said, I can hear you guys chirping me, so I thought I'd jump back on.
All right. What
So
up,
are
Darcy?
Bill and Darcy
Bill
the
got
same
scared,
person?
Man. Bill was like, he's hightailing out of here. He's like, he said, Bill said, hey, I don't want none of Darcy, man. I'm gonna get out of here. I gotta go to bed.
Hey, Russell. Under this, are Darcy and Bill the same person?
That
You
is
never
a
see them in the
possibility.
same room together.
Oh wow!
We haven't. We
it's
have
the
it.
sunglasses.
Yeah.
Hat.
Crazy
Yeah.
how Bill jumps off and Darcy jumps on. Yeah, that's
That's what I'm
amazing.
saying.
Yeah.
Both truck drivers. I don't
Yeah.
know.
He's not a truck driver. He delivers piston rings and onion rings.
And he's got
Ooh.
alibis.
You guys are great, man.
All right, man. Next topic I want to talk about is this move to hybrid players that seems to be happening in the NFL. And I want your thoughts on it. We'll start with Greg Rice. We see these teams. Is it true, Greg, that these teams really covet these guys that are versatile, Swiss Army knives, that they can move to different positions, and the way these defenses are evolving? Tell us about players with different skill sets, and what are these teams looking for in the draft?
Absolutely. I'm absolutely a fan of these new hybrid players. Our Lions just grabbed one about a month and a half ago, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You know, when you can mix it up in the secondary. When grabbed one about a month and a half ago, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. You know, when you can. Anyone else hear that? That was weird.
No, what are you talking about?
No, the versatility thing. On a real note, you guys, I think that is a premium right now in the NFL. You look at these linebackers, you guys. I look at the linebacker position as devaluing as much as the running back is on offense. You know, you're seeing a lot of dime packages. You're seeing a lot of dime packages with no linebackers on the field. Straight secondary players, man. And if you have the ability to play anywhere in the secondary, that is highly coveted. If you're a linebacker whose premium is pass coverage, you'll probably see a lot more time on the field.
So would you think that Justin Fields would be a good hybrid, gadget player then?
I kind of think, I don't want to say that's what he is, but I kind of think with the skill set he brings, he is kind of one of those. Yeah, he is kind of one of those guys that you run RPOs with. That isn't a traditional old school offense, but yeah, the Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson. There's a lot of.
Get a
lot of benefits. I know where you're going with this, John. There's a lot of benefits to versatility in today's NFL, though, you guys, and you cannot knock the players. These new running style quarterbacks, these RPOs, they make absolutely. If you're a defensive coordinator, it's an absolute nightmare game planning for this. So,
Right.
I love the new versatility thing. I'm big on it, me personally.
Yeah, you got these linebackers that kind of project as safeties, and these safeties that project as linebackers, and they've got these guys moving all around, and they're looking for offensive linemen that can play all multiple positions across the line.
Yeah.
And we're seeing things not so specialized anymore. And yeah, I think Justin Fields is a very versatile player. But this season is going to make or break him to know if
Absolutely.
he's a real pocket passer, and if he can survive and play quarterback for Chicago Bears or in this league. John Dorn, you may have to change your take to Fields versatile garbage.
Hey, Mike, hybrid.
Go ahead, Ken. Defend your boy.
Well, I think Greg hits it. Versatility with a guy like Justin Fields, he can run, he can throw. Now you say you add another running back, you add some more versatile players, then yeah, it makes defensive coordinators stand on their head and go, what are they doing?
Yeah.
What Greg said is right in the money, but we've seen this before. The NFL is cyclic. Right? Yeah. We've seen this kind of transition before, and then we move to a more standard, what we would say standard NFL. It's cyclic. So we're going to see this, and then this transition with these guys who are versatile becomes, well, now I want a guy who can just do X. And now we'll go back to specialists. We've seen this before. It's nothing new. This is just the next wave of it. And we'll see it again in a few years. But, the other thing is that I think what we're not talking about is how the receivers are changing. In fact, my son's a receiver. We're having this discussion on the way down here. A receiver that can block well will get more playing time in the NFL than just a guy who can run great routes and catch the ball.
Absolutely.
Look at guys like, DJ Moore does it. Look at guys like
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. They are good blocking wide receivers. Therefore, because he was complaining that one of the guys on his team was telegraphing when he was blocking, was a run play. I said, well, then he's not going to be a good receiver. You got to, sell it and block well. And a lot of these kids don't. They're like, well, I'm just a receiver. Right. Yeah. If the ones that can block, they're the ones who are going to make pay in the NFL because that's what we're looking for. So Greg is right.
Ken, I think you should finance and throw a big party down there in Florida and invite us all down to do the show live from Puerto Vallarta on the veranda there with you.
Or, the veranda's not that big, but we can go to Dusty Beach.
Mike, I have a question. Is that a Kevin
Go ahead,
Jones
Darcy.
jersey?
Go ahead, Darcy. Did I ever tell you, Darcy, I dated a girl in high school named Darcy? Go ahead.
Hey, is that a Kevin Jones jersey? Asking for
No, this is an Alex Anzalone.
That's right.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, Bill,
we don't have to listen.
That's the best take Bill's ever made.
Here, I got something for you. Here, guys. Listen.
It is Bill is Darcy. Look at listen.
Bill's take.
Hey, I just want to tell everyone thank you for letting my grandmother on the show. I really appreciate it. She's a big-time Detroit Lion fan, so I wanted to give the thanks for letting her on. But I don't know if you guys know, but Darcy is in charge of putting together the Gay Pride Parade this year. So if you guys would like to attend the parade,
oh no, is that Jamaz?
Just go hit Darcy's DMs and he'll be sure to set you up with some kind of food voucher, parking pass. He'll hook you up with something. So the next time you want to say you want to suck on a piston ring, you better think about it.
Well, this show changed quickly.
Wow.
Took a turn, didn't it?
Hey, Mike. Can you tell how obsessed he is with me? Can you tell?
We're gonna let you get back. We're gonna let you fire back, buddy. Go ahead.
Listen, this fucking Packers fans, they haven't beat us in 3 fucking games. Realistically, you guys.
What is that got you? What is that got you? No playoff.
What do you mean? Oh, John Dorn says, Dan Campbell's nothing but a loudmouth. He posts like 3 times a week, and he's always wrong. Like, talk about yourself here, brother. You are the delusional fucking slappy of the fucking month.
Really? Okay, what come you guys fucking start out fucking slow every year? You haven't started postseason yet.
I agree with you, John. We can't do that this year, man. If our Lions are going to have a chance.
This year, he's got to prove, just like Justin Fields. This is the year he's got to prove.
Exactly. We can't do the slow start shit. I agree with you.
Go in there. Come on with it.
I mean, look, man, John touches on something, man. Look, Dan Campbell's gotten off the slow starts his last couple of years. And even with the state of this division and it's in, we can't afford that, man. We got to be hanging around for at least 500 football. This getting into 1-8 and this 1-6 and the records he's put on his last couple of years, you can't do that. Even as bad as it is, up in the air as this division is, you will not win a division that way. You've got to be playing at least 500 football at the beginning of the season. So I'm expecting, and that is the expectation. And if not, then we might legitimately have some questions going forward.
I mean, you guys are drafting good. You guys are bringing in the right guys. I mean, you guys are got the players. You just got to put it together now.
I agree.
But John, here, but the thing is like when it comes to belief in your team, that's where it comes in. Like, do you believe that it's going to happen? Well, I personally believe that they have drafted well enough. They do have a core that goes from 1 to 60.
That's like me believing that Jordan Love's going to keep on going and we're going to win. He's going to take off. I know we're going to have a bumpy beginning. Yeah. But eventually it's going to get better. I mean, we might win maybe anywhere from 7 to fucking 9 games this year. Who knows? You know?
Jordan That's realistic. Is everything for you. Like whether he's good or whether he's average or whether he's bad.
Like it feels
everything to you.
Same thing to him. He's got to prove himself this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, he's got the tools to do it.
I think part of the problem is this, though.
Those 50 passes that he's thrown in the NFL might help him, too.
Yeah. So the problem, though, is interrupt, Mike, can I say something here?
Go ahead,
Darcy. Rest days. We were number 2 in net rest days. We have to look at the actual schedule and look at Drew Sharp's net rest days. That's a great article. You have to.
That is subscribe. Actually, Darcy. Yeah, that is.
But once we look at the schedule, because the Lions are not comfortable with playing on, like Dan Campbell says, we're playing at 1:00. That's good. They have consistent schedule. Now, since we're fucking popular now, we are gonna. I doubt if we're gonna get a Monday night game. We'll get a Sunday night game. We'll get the Thanksgiving, like Michael said.
And I think games too.
We will flex in the end, but I do believe we're still going to be at that fucking 9-8 record because road schedule. Talk about it, guys.
Well, I mean, no, there's another problem though that we're not talking about, and that's like you get teams like Chicago with some new wide receivers, Green Bay with Jordan Love starting, and 3 preseason games, of which the starters are going to play maybe a net total of 3 quarters. It's hard to build your rosters or to build the consistency in your teams when you're doing preseason like that. And ever since the NFL went away from the 4-game preseason, went to 3-game preseason, which the starters don't even really play. Right? You look at week 1, 2, and 3 every year. There's shit shows for most of these teams where you had major additions, subtractions made because it takes that long for the teams to adjust. So, do I expect Green Bay and Chicago to come out firing? Not really, because unless they get a good amount of playing time in the preseason, they're not going to build that repetition together. But we do it in practice. Practice isn't game time. You know what I'm saying? So they need game time together. That's part of the problem too.
I can't take your take seriously in that hat, Ken.
I can.
You look like Minnie Pearl on hormones.
Here you go.
You're doing great, kid.
Try this. I got the hat off and the sun's in my eyes.
So much better. There we go. Hey, Rusty, you got any parting shots for this panel of knuckleheads before we sign off there?
No, I just want to say Ken Doby right there looking like a rock star right there with like the Jim McMahon with the
I wish I had his money.
Right in there. You look like a badass.
I wish I had his hair
gentlemen.
at that age. Good
Hey,
for
Mike,
you, my man.
Mike, let me tap into something real quick here. Hey, Ken, real talk, man. I get your frustration with the preseason, but I'm telling you from here on out, man, within the next decade, 15 years, it's only going to get worse, man. The NFL is not going to stay stuck on an odd game schedule. I predict by 2035, it'll be a full 18-game schedule. It would be down to 2 preseason games.
I agree with you. These owners are going to keep coughing up these giant salaries, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're going to want to get a return on that, and that's going to be equaled into an 18th game. I think that's a great call out.
But you know what, though? If you do that, then extend the cap accordingly. If you're going to add another game.
Oh, they will, and they do. Yeah. They do, and they will.
Yeah. Anything else, Russ, before we sign off?
This was fantastic tonight, guys. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. And,
great show, everyone. Thanks.
Listen. I saw you guys on your second episode. I commented constantly. I said, I'm going to get you involved with the NFL, the huddle. You met Greg. Everything's gone great. You guys have the fucking best show on Facebook. You guys are fucking entertaining. I love you guys. One pride.
One pride, Darcy.
All right.
There you go.
Oh, for this panel of knuckleheads and the maestro, Russell Wayne, I'm Main Event Mike, reminding you that we'll be live again tomorrow night for the Monday Night Main Stage. It's the NFC North Open Mic. You are welcome to chime in, maybe even get on the show. We might rip you a new one, or we might just love your takes. You might have the best takes on the show. Either way, join us. Follow us, like and share our content. That's the fuel that makes the engine go. And don't forget, we go live Thursday, April 27th at 7 p.m. from the NFL Draft. For the panel, I'm Main Event Mike, telling everyone, God bless each and every one of you. Peace out.
Go back, go.
Great job, buddy.
What's going on, Russell Wayne and the Main Event 365 Network? This is Jason Kabenda from the Detroit Lions. Here to give y'all a shout out, man. We appreciate all the support, man. Know you guys are big fans. Know that you guys are rooting for us to take the North this year, and we're going to do just that, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Just want to give y'all a shout out. Y'all have a great day.